Hello everybody and welcome to the show. This is another episode of Andy's Shed Live. This time it's for Sunday the 16th of February 2025. Hello there everybody, welcome aboard once again. Look, a bit off colour there today. Get this thing right. Got this camera that moves itself. It's not supposed to. It's not like a robot or anything, but it just gradually tips, and I have to keep adjusting it back. Hello, welcome to the show. It is, as I say, Sunday the 16th of February. Crikey, how it is flying by. And thanks for all the birthday wishes in the week, by the way. For those of you who knew, those of you who didn't, I did keep it a well-kept secret. We have got a fairly fast show for you today. Just let's have a little look who is lurking in the chat. Right, hang on now, because I've got to do something funny with this. Now, where are we? Hang on a minute, that's not right. I'll get this in a minute, I swear I will, yeah. Get rid of that one. Get the program, that's it, I think. Right, so who we got with us tonight? We've got Fat Hobbits with us, and Keith is with us so far. I'm sure there'll be some more along in a moment or two. Again, I was a bit late actually pressing the go button on the stream today, so people are probably just catching up with what's happening. It's going to be a fairly short show tonight. Had a bit of a busy day today, being rescuing things today from a house that needs to be cleared. It's a long and complicated story, but basically I have a relative who is getting on a bit, no longer living in the house that they used to live in. The house is full of stuff, and basically got to go and clear it out. And have we found anything interesting? The answer is yes, we have. Nothing telephone related, but found quite a nice old clock that I knew was there, and something that I definitely did not know was there, a very, very, very old record player built into a piece of wooden furniture, so old it's got like a massive starting handle that you put into it and wind it up. So I've got to go at some point and try and rescue that. So that'll be an interesting move, I have absolutely no doubt. Neville's with us. Hi Neville. Just talking record players here at the moment, and the possibility of a rescue of one of those, and I think there'll be at least one sewing machine to rescue as well out there, to add to the collection. The museum thing is getting quite critical, shall we say now. The idea of wanting to start some sort of museum really could do with doing it. No idea how to go about it though, but really could do with doing it, because we're getting so much stuff now and people are getting in touch all the time, with stuff, who need a home for it. So that's what we do. Sorry, I've got a cough on it. But yeah, that's what we do. So there's stuff appearing all the time now. And if you can see the big pile of phones down the side of me here, you know exactly what I mean. But yeah, but when they're gone, they're gone. So you have to collect them while you can. That's the thing, because They won't be there to collect in 5, 10 years time perhaps, so you have to do what you can when you can. Fat Hobbit says it's a common issue clearing out old folks' houses. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's lots of things, but you've just got to try and check everything. You've literally got to check everything. For instance, I knew there was a clock. It's not a massively old clock. It's maybe from the 50s or 60s, a mantle clock, but it's quite a nice one. Quite an unusual manufacturer. And I've known it because it used to be sat on the sideboard ticking away years ago. It's since moved. We had a bit of trouble finding it today, but it was still there, but not where it traditionally sat, ticking away. My guess is it had stopped and they'd not been able to get it going again, so they sort of put it to one side. But I found the clock, but then in an old biscuit tin, nowhere near it, they actually found the original receipt for the clock. So that was quite nice, because it would have been bought by a long dead relative of mine, and we found the receipt with his signature on for when he bought the clock. So we've now managed to rescue the clock and also rescue the receipt that goes with the clock. So I think that's rather good, and I think that's a clock where I'm going to have to write kind of who bought it and who had it and where it was. I think I'm going to, because I know the history of it, so I'm going to have to write all that history down and fold on a piece of paper and fold it up and stick it inside the clock. I think then when anything happens to me, hopefully the next person will find that and then they'll know the history of it. I think that's what we should do. I think that's what we should do with telephones as well. If it's something you know the history of, write it down on a bit of paper and stick it inside, slip it under the circuit board or something inside the phone. And that. It's always interesting to the next person who opens it up if there's a little bit of history there, isn't it? Dominic is with us. He says he's just dropping in briefly tonight. It says it will make a good restoration stream. What, the clock or the wind-up record player? The wind-up record player is hilarious because I've been in that house must literally be thousands of times from being a kid, and I've never seen this record player before. It must have always been. It was in the corner of it was a double fronted house, and it was in the corner of a room that we went into sometimes, but we didn't really live in it. It's a room you went into to do something where you needed a bit of space because there's a big table in the middle of the room. So if you're doing a jigsaw or something, you went into that room. But you didn't really live in that room because it was cold a lot of the time, to be frank. But just going in today, found what I always thought was just an old sort of set of drawers or something, and it turns out there's this really old record player in it. And then just like we found the receipt for the clock in the biscuit tin nowhere near the clock, sort of 2 rooms away in the house there's a little table in a hallway, a relatively modern table, not been there that long, maybe only been there 10 years perhaps, and it got a little drawer in it, this whole table. Pulled the drawer out, and damn me, there's 2 tins of the original styluses for this ancient record player, because it's the sort of steel styluses that you put in and use them and throw them away and put another one in, and I just could not believe. Well, I'm not actually sure they are steel. I think they might be copper. I think they might be something softer than steel because they look copper coloured. But there's 2 tins of them, and they were like in this modern. So somebody's had those styluses out and put them in this modern little whole table thing. Why have they had them styluses out and put them in this modern whole table? I have no idea. But it was like 2 rooms away, so you had to put 2 and 2 together as to what they were. But luckily we've now reunited the starter with the record player, and I've got to go and empty the back of my van and go at some point and try and pick up this record player. I've got a feeling it's going to be heavy. So my question is, does anybody on here know anything about vintage record players? Because my knowledge of vintage record players is zero, particularly really vintage ones, like wind-up ones. My knowledge is zero. So if anybody knows anything about them, please do get in touch. Keith says, would you consider donating your telephone collection to the Museum of Telephony at Milton Keynes? Might be easier than setting up a new charity. The question there, Keith, is you never quite know how long a museum's going to be there. I mean, that museum at Milton Keynes has changed quite a lot over the years. And from what I see of it now, it's not much of a museum. It's more a sort of kiddies play area. You know, it's all hands-on and all this malarkey, and it doesn't really tell you much about the history. I'm not overly impressed with it, so I don't know is the answer to that. Anything you do like that has to come with caveats, but it's not just telephones, there's other things as well as telephones. Telephones are just the very tip of the iceberg. For instance, there's another ancient sewing machine here. You can't see it really, but there's a wooden table here. Can you see this bit of wood here? And in this wooden table there is another ancient sewing machine in this wooden table here. And stuff is arriving all the time. So you've got to be a very careful custodian of things, particularly when a lot of the things have been given to you by people, which a lot of them have now. Because if somebody gives you a phone, even if you've got 20 more exactly like it, they want their one to be preserved. So you have to preserve 21 of the same thing then, and I think you should, because these museums that get rid of duplicates of things and that, what happens if that museum burns down and all the duplicates have gone, and stuff has been lost that way? Oh, well, I can hear music or something. I could hear music then. No idea what that is, but I could hear something then. Have I not stopped the music? Right. Has it gone now? Right, I think that should be better. I think I've stopped the... I could hear music very faintly in my ear, which was weird because I'm not wearing headphones. But yeah, I think I've got rid of it now. So yeah, you have to be a bit of a custodian of things. No, it says, I'm currently at my parents' practicing driving more. Oh, Christopher's here. Hi, Christopher. And Bills. Good evening, Bills. Keith says, you could set up the charity in your will, Andy. Yeah, but who would administer it? But if you leave it till then, who's going to administer it? don't it? So I worked at the Cambridge Computer Museum one summer, and a baby was sick all over a BBC B, and it made me ill. Wouldn't want a rare jade green phone meeting the same fate. Yeah, this is the problem with putting stuff out on display. People that go to museums, generally, families, the ones that try to attract families with hands-on exhibits and stuff, that's not generally what you want in a museum. Because you don't want ice cream smearing all over your exhibits. Bill says, I can hear the music. Right. I think there's a typo in there somewhere. Bill says, I have COVID, but I'm hoping by Wednesday, when all cleared, to visit the Milton Keynes Museum. Right, how do you know you're going to be all cleared by Wednesday, Bills? You might not be. It might last longer. You need to take a test before you. In fact, you need to take 2 before you go out. And until you get 2 clear on consecutive days, you shouldn't really go out. That's the rule that I still live by with it. Right. Okay. Anyway, so yes. So yes, the piles of stuff are are increasing and set to increase more. Also, got to tell you that in 2 or 3 weeks' time, there's going to be a very special live show. We're going to do a very special Andy Shed live in. Might be in 2 weeks. It might be in 3 weeks. I don't exactly know when as yet, but I will let you know. We are going to do a very special live show, and it's going to be a surprise, but it's not going to come from here. It's going to come from elsewhere. So either 2 or 3 weeks today, an earlier live show. It will be probably about 3 in the afternoon, something like that, and it won't be from here. So I'll let you think on that one, but it is one you will not want to miss. And no, it's not coming from the Telephone Museum at Milton Keynes either. Yeah, you need some test bills. You need to get older some tests and to find out when you're clear. Because as soon as you're clear, you have to take a test, and as soon as you get a clear test, you have to wait 24 hours. Then take another one, and if they're both clear, then you're okay to rejoin the rat race, basically. Bill says, "Are you trying to tease us, Andy?" Yes, I am. Unashamedly, yes. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks time. You heard it first here. Right. Yeah. So that is that. Basically, that's about all I've got to tell you really this week. There's not been a great deal happening. Well, there has, but nothing you guys would be interested in, and stuff. But you'll hear the clock ticking away up there. I've actually remembered to wind it up again. The trouble with clocks you have to wind up is remembering to wind them up. That's a constant problem for me, remembering to wind the plumbing things up. And they all seem to run down at different rates either, as well. Some run for like 7 days, some will do like 8 days, some only seem to do about 6 days. It's a bit weird. This has got a very quiet chime at the moment. I think hammer's moved or something. Bill said, "Oh, Andy's coughing, that's how it started. I've had this cough for weeks. Can't get rid of it." I'm like that. Once I get a cough, I have it for months and months and months. It wouldn't surprise me if I'm not coughing now for 6 months. Yeah, would not surprise me at all. Bill says, I've not pressed COVID through the screen, promise. You better not have. I'm still very antisocial. I still stay away from people with COVID. Yeah. Don't understand why we don't all still wear masks. You know, what's the hassle of wearing a mask? Why don't we just wear them all the time? I'd be quite happy to do it out. Yeah. So there you go. So that's about all that, really. I say we've got a big pile of phones down here. Christopher says, I've got an Ericsson Bakelite 271 magneto dial telephone coming from eBay. Oh, the dreaded flea bait. Have they charged you a buyer fee for it, Christopher? On UK eBay, they were supposed to be starting to charge buyers fees from February, but I've not noticed it happened yet. Bill says, I know in the war people just wore gas masks. Today we need an exemption. Well, what, from wearing a gas mask? Yeah, perhaps we should wear gas masks. Bill says, do you know why the Bakelite Magneto is very heavy? Metal base. I'm guessing the Bakelite Magneto is very heavy, so that when you turn the handle, it doesn't scoot around on the table. I'm guessing that's the main reason. And also, it's a magneto, isn't it? So it's going to have metallic. It's going to have metallic magnets in it. Made out of lumps of steel, possibly, and stuff. So it's going to be heavy. It is going to be heavy. Anything with a magneto in it is going to be relatively heavy. So yeah, yeah. Magnetos are always heavy. Magnetos on stationary engines are quite heavy, particularly when you drop one on your foot. What's now? My phone is pinging and pinging and pinging all the time. Right, get rid of that. Right, that's that gone. Yeah, phones are heavy, aren't they? These ones are heavy. This one's not complete, but it's still heavy. These things are phenomenally heavy. Yeah, mainly because the whole body of it is made out of metal. It's like cast. Not sure what it is. I wanted to say steel, but it's cast something forever, whatever, and it is mega heavy. It's really heavy. I've got no clue what it is that it's made out of, but it's a really heavy body on these phones, and some of them are copper, or look like the copper. But what happened was somebody a few years ago, after they'd come out of service in Europe where they come from, somebody got a job lot of them and decided to copper plate them to sell them as an antique telephone. So if you get a copper plated one, it may look nice, but it's wrong. I've seen some chrome plated ones as well, some silver coloured ones, and again they look nice, but they're wrong. And some have stickers on here, like little gold transfers on here, That's wrong as well. This has got the Remainsa one, but those gold transfers were put on after they left proper commercial service. Where's the handset? Says Bills. I've got absolutely no idea on this one. This is how it arrived. So no, this one's not got a handset. This happens a lot. This happens increasingly, actually. That stuff that arrives here is not complete, because prices in recent years. Look how dusty it is. Must do some dusting. Prices in recent years have gone a bit silly, in my opinion. So stuff that drops in my price range now is often not complete. So you buy something like this, and it sort of gets put to one side until some months or sometimes some years later you buy a handset that's not attached to a phone. And then couple the two together and hopefully you have something that works. Is it? Oh yeah, dial sort of works on it, that's reasonable. But yeah, it's requiring restoration, but this happens a lot. We get stuff a lot like this coming into us. Bill says, is it from Belgium? I think it is Bells. I think it did use them in Belgium. It's a Bell phone, but I think they were used in Belgium. But yeah, I mean, I as you know, I'm very tight. I don't pay a lot for telephones. When you've got a few hundred of the blooming things, and somebody's wanting 50 quid for a phone, you think, do I really need another one? No, not for that sort of money, I don't. No. So, yeah. And also, this might get scrapped if I hadn't bought it. If I hadn't paid the 99p or whatever I paid on eBay for it, this would probably have got scrapped. It would probably have got taken to bits, and then the bits sold at vastly inflated prices on Fleabay. And I'm all for stopping people doing that, because they are destroying heritage items by taking them to bits and parting them out, and I'm very much against that. That's why I try not to buy any parts singly on eBay. But this will get restored. We'll find a handset. These had various different sorts of handsets on them at various different times. So there's quite a lot you can get away with on one of these, but they are just incredibly heavy. But this one's got a brass dial on it, as you can see. So I think with the brass bits polished up, this would look quite nice. So yeah. Looking. Jeff is with us. Hello there, Jeff. It says, is the record player you mentioned earlier a Victrola, Andy? Those old machines from the late 20s have a fascinating drive mechanism. I'm not sure what it is, Jeff. To be honest, I haven't looked close enough at it to find out what it is as yet. I've still got to go and look. To be honest, it was in the corner of a room that hasn't been used for some time, under a pile of stuff. Because in recent years, basically, stuff that's not been used has just got piled into this room. So this was under a pile of stuff, and I just moved enough stuff off the top of it just to sort of peek under the lid. And I found one of these really old-fashioned sort of hollow tin tone arm things that has the needle in the end, you know, that sort of flips over and you flip it down. Um, and yeah, I thought, this is old. I thought to myself, okay. So I've not seen a name or anything on it yet. I'm sure there will be one somewhere, but I've not. I just looked at it and thought, right, this needs saving, and then I sort of went on to the next thing, you know, because I was trying to sort of take inventory of the stuff that was there. Yeah, I'm hoping to go back later this coming week and have a more proper look, let's say. So yeah, but yeah, we'll find out what it is. But I know it's got a massive, great long, like almost like a car starting handle. It looks like a starting handle out of an old car. It's that sort of size, and I'm guessing you put that in a hole somewhere and wind it up. I'm just hoping that whatever spring mechanism is in it, the spring is good. Because I imagine if the spring is broken, like clock springs break, I imagine getting the spring for it would be a nightmare. So yeah, we will see. We will see what it's all about. But yeah, but whether it's a Victrola or not, I've not got a clue at the moment. Christmas says I got my new GPO Mark 1746 phone. It's my home phone now. Very good, Christopher. They keep coming, you see, don't they? Bill says I saw an antique house clearance shop advertising old phones to turn into lamps. Had to really try hard not to say anything. Do say something. Do say something. Do say something. I a few years ago now, I went to a Christmas market type event at Kelham Island Industrial Museum in Sheffield, and somebody had rented a stall there. They put this big marquee up and invited traders to go. I suppose it charged them a fortune for stalls, and this guy had got lots of old phones that he'd turned into lamps. And I walked up to his stall and I had a casual look, and there was nobody else around his stall. And I got talking to him, had a bit of a conversation with him, and he said, "I'm not doing very well." He said, "I've not sold anything." And I said, "Oh, well, I'm not surprised." I said, "I wouldn't normally buy an old phone like that." I said, but and he said, "Well, why don't you buy one then?" I said, "Because some idiots butchered it and turned it into a lamp." I said, "If it had been left alone, I might have bought it. But somebody's fitted a 99p lamp fitting to it, and now I'm not interested. You've basically wiped all the value off of that item." He got quite upset, but it don't bother me, because actually I was doing him a favour by telling him the truth. He'd have been far better just to resell the phones. Rather than take the time butchering them into lamps. Because somebody wants a lamp, buy a goddamn lamp, you know. Somebody wants a lamp, don't pay 150 quid for a phone turned into a lamp, you know. Go to B&M Bargains and pay a tenner and get a proper table lamp. You know, it's as simple as that. Bill says, "Andy, thank you last time for regarding the Bell Box 1A. He says it's all sorted now." Excellent. Pleased to hear it. Jeff says, "That record player sounds like a Victrola. I have a few. That crank winds a powerful spring. It should have a brass nameplate with model number inside." Where does that crank handle go in it then, Jeff? Because there was something in the top at the back, you know, where I wanted to call it a tonal, but I'm sure it's not a tonal. I'm sure there's a different name for it, you know. The thing with the stylus on. But at the side of that, there were two other like fittings. I don't know if one of them was like a brass fitting round a hole, and I was wondering if the thing went down inside it and you wound it that way. which would kind of make sense for the way the record player spins round. If you're winding something vertically, wouldn't it? It wouldn't have to go through an angle drive. Yeah. I wonder if it is a Victrola. About 1920 sounds like it would probably be about right, actually, for what it looks like. Jeff says turning it into a lamp should be a criminal offence. I totally agree, Jeff. I remember there was one of those stupid programs on the television, that Money for Nothing program, where a woman goes to a council tip site, where you can take all your rubbish and that, and she gets stuff off people that they're going to chuck in the skip. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with getting stuff off people that they're going to chuck in the skip. But then she turns it into something it's not. And I remember once she got a record vise, a massive, great big record vise, and turned it into a wall light, for Christ's sake. Now, how the hell do you hold a record vise on your wall as a wall light? You're going to need to put a bolt through to next door, aren't you? To hold that on the wall. But no, it's turned into a wall light. Absolutely bonkers. Why go to the trouble of turning something into something else? Why not just save the item if it works and just sell it to somebody who wants it for a vise or a telephone? Why waste time and energy turning it into something else? Jeff says there's a hole on the right side. Crank feeds through it and can be rethreaded into gearing. Right. So if I sit like that and the thing's in front of me, are you saying the crank is on the side of it, like round here? It's not in front of me, and it's not in from the top. It's like on the side. Is that what you're saying? Because I don't know, because that side is up against a wall. It's because it's in a corner. So there could be something there could be a hole in the side there, because it is in a corner. Yeah. Fascinating. What do you do? You see, this is where I'm kicking myself now, because an antiques dealer friend of mine, a while back, he had a little device I've never ever seen before, and it was basically it was a tin, and you open this tin, and inside this tin was what looked like a tiny record player with an arm, but the arm was not upright. It was at a very low angle, and there was a little handle on the side that you turned, and this record player thing went round. And what you actually did in this tin, there were also some little sticky round bits of sandpaper. And what it was, apparently, it was for reconditioning your needle in a really ancient record player. You put your needle in this thing, it dropped down onto this like mini record player thing that's got this bit of sandpaper on it, this bit of sticky sandpaper. You wind like crazy, and it sort of refaces the needle, sort of thing, somehow. Yeah, I've never seen one before. Jeff says, if it's a Victrola, yes, crank feeds through right side. Have you got a picture of one, Jeff? Send us a photo to andy@coldpress.net if you've got a picture of one. andy@coldpress.net. It's sort of type it as you say it. Yeah, I wonder if I can find a picture of one online. Victrola record player. Let's have a look, see if I can find one. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, right, that might be it. Hang on a minute. Yeah, that could be it. Right, let me see if I can show you guys that now. Right. How do I... do that now? Right, I think this is very similar to what it is. This is very similar looking. It's not exactly like that. The cabinet it's in is a bit different to that. The cabinet it's in looks older than that actually, but it is similar. So how old is that then? That is my next question. How old is that record player? Let's have a look. Victor, but that's not a Victrola, is it? RCA Victrola. RCA Victrola was a budget record label introduced by RCA Victor in the early 1960s. No. Our history, turntable manufacturers, Victrola. They're still going apparently. Crikey. Victrola, one of the leading turntable manufacturers, was born in 1906 in Camden, New Jersey, when first introduced to the American public by the Victor Talking Machine Company, full of entrepreneurial ideas and known for its use of quality materials. Victor, later becoming RCA, was the largest and most successful turntable manufacturer of its time. Victrola, much like music, has transcended time and endured yada yada yada. So it became RCA. Crikey. Wow. I'm impressed. I am seriously impressed. So yeah, it's something like that, and it's from about 1920, which sounds like it could be about right. Yes, that sounds like it could be about right. That, yeah. So the question now is, can we get it going? Right. Watch this space. Yeah, oh, it's exciting, that, isn't it? You should see my face when I lifted the lid up and found out it was a record player and not just a set of drawers or something. You never know what you're going to find these days. It's like treasure hunt. But yeah, that is very cool. That is. I'm very impressed with that. Dominic says modern Victrolas are just cheap Chinese suitcase players, I believe. The name has been purchased, says Jeff. They make much cheaper things now. Dominic says, do you still have all those 78s in the loft to test it with? I do actually, Dominic. Yeah, it's a good job I didn't get rid of them, really, isn't it? Although there are a load of 78s with it. I have brought some of them back in the car today. Some of them, because 78, for those who don't know, 78 records are incredibly heavy because they're made out of shellac. They're not made out of vinyl like more modern records. They're made out of shellac and the secretions of the lac bug, and it's heavy. Jeff said, yeah, 78 RPM shellac records. Christopher says, I found something. Says, I found a dial 12 in a box I forgot I had. That's good. It's always like Christmas when stuff like that happens, isn't it, Christopher? You think, oh, yeah, yeah. Jeff says, that crank in the Victrola, if it's a Victrola, mine's a powerful spring. It should have a brass nameplate with a model number inside. I'll have a look. I'll have a look. I'll report back next time and let you know if I've found anything. Terrified of winding it up though, because the spring might break. Yeah. And also, won't fit in here. Won't fit. There's barely room for me to fit in here, so I can't fit that idiot. Yeah, but what an interesting thing. So yeah, that was kind of find of the day, I think. The old Victrola there. I'm going to put this very heavy phone back down. Well, they've not got the handset on me. Why do they have this handle? Because the phone tips up with this handle. It's really not sensible, this handle on these phones. Right. You know, I'm an idiot really, because I walk around with a modern smartphone in my pocket all the time. When I find something interesting, do I take a picture? No, I don't take a picture. What an idiot. I should have taken a picture, shouldn't I? While I was there today. I should have took a photo of it. But oh well. Next week we'll see what we can do. Right. I think that is probably almost as far as we go today. Mainly because not a lot's happened this week. It's been a bit sort of quiet on the Western Front sort of thing this week, really. Not much been happening. Jeff says, what was your email again, Andy? It's Jeff, it's andy@coalpress.net. So it's Andy, A-N-D-Y, the at thing, and then Coalpress, call as in telephone call, and press, P-R-E-S-S, all one word. So andy@coalpress.net. Remember, it's .net, not .com. That's what catches people out. Christopher, Andy, have you put the dial 12 I sent you in your PMG 403 phone yet? No, I haven't. And do you know why I haven't? Because I still can't get the current dial out of the PMG phone. It's still stuck fast. Because somebody had glued it in. For those of you who don't know this story, I had an Australian phone with the wrong dial in it, and Christopher kindly sent me, all the way from Australia, the correct dial to go in the phone. And it should just be a case of twisting the dial and coming out, putting another one in this Bakelite phone. But somebody's glued it in, and whatever they've glued it in with, it's very good glue, because nothing seems to touch it. I've tried all sorts of things. I'm a little bit limited to what I can do, because all the innards of the phone are still there, particularly the innards of the dial. So I'm a bit limited to what I can do. But I've tried all sorts of things that people have suggested to loosen this glue, and nothing seems to work. And I'm a bit surprised, because I didn't really think much of anything stuck to Bakelite. I thought Bakelite was a thing that kind of only stuck to itself. So I'm a little bit surprised about that. But the phone is sat on the shelf, Christopher, and the dial is sat next to it at the minute. And one day, I'm hoping, like the prince who comes along and sort of draws the sword out of the stone that's been stuck in the stone for years and years and years, I'm hoping somebody's going to pick up this phone one day and go click and manage to take the dial out. Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, right, I think I've caught up. Yeah, so yeah, the Victrola. So I shall Google that further as the week progresses, and see if we can find the exact model that we've discovered. And how heavy is it? That's the question. And I couldn't get close enough to it because, as I say, it got all stuff around it, so I didn't get a chance to try picking it up. How heavy is it is the question. It's on fairly weedy legs as well, very spindly little legs it's on, so I don't want to sort of drag it around because I'm worried I'm going to break a leg off it. The legs do not seem chunky enough to hold a machine that you crank with a big spring inside it. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Christmas says, Andy, doesn't the black part come off the dial 21 from the back of the dial? No, I don't think it does, Christopher. I think to get that black bit off, that black bit is the main body of the dial. I'd not swear to this because I'm not certain without actually having one in front of me to look at. But I think you basically build the dial around the black bit. I think the black bit is what you start with and then start putting all the bits on. So no, I don't think it does. Jeff said, Andy sent an email with a great website resource for the Victrola. I will see if it's arrived, Jeff. The trouble is, emails often don't seem to get here while I'm live on air. I think I think it's something to do with my internet connection, and it doesn't, you know, it's got all on doing this stream. So I think when it's got to poll my email, see if I've got any new messages at the same time, I think it just craps out and goes, yeah, you know something, I'm going to do that when you finish streaming, because it's too much all at once. We are downloading email even as I speak. The problem is I get millions. Bear with us. Normal service will be resumed in a moment. Doobie-doobie-doo. Still downloading email. This is how much email I get, you see. No, still downloading email. We'll get there eventually, I promise. We'll get there eventually. Right. Victrola. What's worried me slightly, it doesn't look quite like any of these. But yeah, the website that I'm looking at is www.victor-victrola.com. The basics of the acoustic phonograph. Wow. This is a brilliant website. I highly recommend this website that I'm looking at. www.victor-victrola.com. I highly recommend it. Yeah, looks very good. Lots of reading to do there, I feel, this week. Right, let me close that and get back to what I'm supposed to be doing. Thanks for that, Jeff. I shall be having a read on there after the show. Chris says, I've also sent a photo for the phone I'm getting from eBay, have you? Right, let's have a look. Being as my email does actually seem to be working at the moment. Which is interesting. Oh yeah, so you have. Oh, there's something a bit weird about that, Chris. Yeah. Yeah, it looks a bit odd, that, Christopher. Yeah, that does look a bit strange, that does, Christopher. Right, hang on a minute now, let me see what I can do here. Where the hell has that picture gone? There it is. Well, for some reason, Christopher, I can't get your pictures to appear. Can't get them to appear at the moment. But yeah, Christopher has sent me a picture, but I can't get it up on the stream for some reason. Tell you, email when we're live is not reliable, shall we say? Yeah, we'll. Right, have we got it now? Oh, I might have got it now. I might have. Hang on a minute. There we go, I think. Yeah, so this is the phone that Christopher's getting, apparently. There's something a bit weird about the base of that, though, isn't there? Look at that funny sort of step bit at the bottom. That's kind of where the base of the drawer would be, but it's got like an extra bit at the bottom, an extra layer at the bottom, maybe so they could fit the magneto into it. Yeah. Yeah, so although it's kind of based on a British 300 design, it is an Australian phone, that. So it is just a tad different. But yeah, that looked weird to me, but might be normal if you're in Australia. But it's not like a British phone, let's put it that way. But yeah, looks alright, that, Christopher. Yeah. Looks alright, that one. Right, anyway, I think that really is about as far as we go for today. Christopher says they only paid 10 Australian dollars for that phone. Cracky, that was a bargain then, wasn't it? That was quite good, that one. Jeff says the Victrola website is a bit hard to navigate, but lots of good info there if you dig through it. So if you're going on that website, victorvictrola.com, you've got to kind of persevere through it, says Jeff, which we are going to do. He says, love those old phones. The Western Electric ones were built to last forever. Yes, they indeed were, and Indeed they have done. Yeah, there's a couple here. I can't show you at the minute because I can't spin the camera around far enough. But there's a wall phone on the phone up there, and there's another wall phone in a pile down here waiting for some parts, which hopefully will be getting sorted soon. So, thanks everybody for taking part once again this week. It's been a good one this week. We've covered the gamut of things, haven't we? Dominic says, haven't seen Wesley or me get on recently. I hope, well, yeah, me too. How long is it since we've seen Wesley? I think we saw Wesley 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think. I've not seen him again recently, though. Yeah, hope they are well. If you're out there, chaps, yeah, stick a comment on or something. Just let us know that you're okay. Jeff says the phones have outlasted the network we built for them to use. Yeah, very true. Actually, very true. That never thought of it that way, but it is a good point. That is, yeah. Yeah. Right, that is about it for today. Thanks, as I say, for taking part once again. We will be back next week around about 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish. Then, after that, either the following week, so either 2 weeks today or 3 weeks today, there is going to be a very special episode. It will be airing earlier. The special episode will be airing around about 2:30, 3 p.m. So, in either a fortnight or 3 weeks' time, try and be around at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because we are going to be airing a special episode from elsewhere. That's why it's airing a bit earlier, because it's some distance away and I've got to get back from it so I can go to bed that night. So please do watch out for that one in a couple of weeks' time. Well, 2 or 3 weeks' time. In the meantime, next week we will have a bit of news of this record player, hopefully, and I doubt we'll be having a rendition from it next week, but who knows, anything can happen on this show. Thanks, as I say, for watching once again, and also remember that if you like what you see here and you do want to make a donation to us, we don't do Patreon anymore, but we do Buy Me a Coffee, which is here. It's https://buymeacoffee.com/Andy's or www would probably work as well, wouldn't it? www.buymeacoffee.com/Andy's and yeah, every little helps when it comes to rescuing record players out of abandoned bedrooms and things. Right, that is it from me for now. I'm off to go and have me a cough lozenges, and I will see you next time. But from me for now, have a fantastic week ahead, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now, everybody.